how we can see, Lifecoach banned Gaara's Warlock and Gaara banned Lifecoach's Warrior. And the first match is Lifecoach's Dragon Aggro Pirate Warrior, Shaman, versus the Paladin deck of Gaara, which I don't really know what it is.
Can you make any prediction for us, JJ?
Prediction?
Before we see the cards, which Paladin are you expecting?
Which Paladin?
You're almost too late.
I would say it's aggressive.
Okay.
I would say it's aggressive. But we get probably anything Paladin, like it seems.
It's gotta be, right? I know Gaara is a guy that likes to, like we were just saying, likes to experiment, likes to take risks, but
Yes.
there is no good control Paladin right now that's not anything. Maybe N'Zoth?
Maybe in a soft, but it doesn't really have like the win conditions besides the big bodies. But I think it could be unsoft. But I didn't see a Murloc yet. But I could maybe with the new Finja, the Rising Star.
Right.
That's a cool card, though. I mean.
Yeah, Lothar was saying that. I've got my reservations about it. I'm not sure because it might mess up the second anything can happen. If you're getting 2 Finjas and suddenly you're not dealing 30 damage at once.
So yeah, we see like Lifecoach playing like mediocre aggressive Shaman. Like there is a Hex we can see, but also like the new healer card, the Junju. 4-drop, 3/6, overloads you for 1 and heals you also for 6. So basically a better heal bot, which is very interesting.
Right.
I mean, I practice with Lifecoach.
Yeah, your input is going to be invaluable.
Valuable.
Lifecoach's
But
game.
we are in charge now and patches goes to the battlefield. Yeah, the good old patches coming down turn 1. But we can also see a Doomsayer in Gaara's hand, which might very well be a problem for Lifecoach because it really stops the aggression. And it also activates the Solemn Vigil.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a warrior that Lifecoach is playing now, then sure, he could use Fiery War Axe, he'd be able to deal with the Doomsayer. But unfortunately, unless Lifecoach wants to coin out that Hex, which feels like a horrible play, he's about to lose his board, and that feels horrible for an aggressive deck at the moment. But we are seeing Thunderbluff Valiant here, so it might not be the end of the world for Lifecoach.
Yes, maybe he can take a bit slower approach and just say, let the Doomsayer go off. The only downside of that will be that Gaara has even a very clean turn 3 then with the Solemn Vigil. So that's an interesting turn here. You could coin Hex, but do you really want to Hex the 2-drop of like a late game-ish Paladin? That's the question.
It feels so horrible. Like, I mean, there are lots of different schools of thoughts when it comes to how you use Hex against a Paladin. Do you try and Hex a Tyrion? Do you actually try and Hex the Bluegill Warriors and prevent all of the charge? But one thing that no one usually considers is, do you want to Hex the Doomsayer? But Lifecoach may be in this position where he actually has to.
I'm pretty sure he's just running that thought through his mind, but he came to the conclusion it's not worth it and he can just play the bit more late game strategy.
Yeah, unfortunately for Lifecoach, as you mentioned, this is now a very nice, cheap Solemn Vigil from Gaara, but his curve isn't exactly perfect at the moment.
Yes, but the card draw will probably fix that problem, since he has Loot Hoarder also in hand, and he has just the right tools to control the early states of the game, and then probably get his late game strategy going. So I think it's looking very good here for Gaara. Like, it's very important to stop the early aggression from the Shaman. And the Doomsayer is so very bad to draw in the late game, so it's really good for him to get rid of them here with a very good value.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Lifecoach, it doesn't look like he's going to have a method to deal with the second Doomsayer. It's pretty much as brutal as the first one. After Doomsayer, yeah, Gaara doesn't actually have any board clears left, but like you said, he does have Loot Hoarder. He's got the Paladin. I've forgotten what it's called now. The Discover, a Paladin card.
Yeah, let's just call it the horse.
Ivory Knight. That's the one, I think.
Let's call it the horse.
Let's call it the horse. All right.
Okay.
But yeah, look at this. Gaara playing Doomsayer with Loot Hoarder. So even if Lifecoach did somehow deal with the Doomsayer, he'd have to kill Loot Hoarder as well.
There's also even the second Solemn Vigil waiting, so yeah, it's very interesting. Like, now you could really consider that Hex too, because you don't really want to give the Paladin another free turn.
Right.
So yeah.
So even though it doesn't really achieve anything, Lifecoach may consider trading in the Searing Totem into Loot Hoarder next turn.
Yes. That's going to be a very, very complicated turn for Lifecoach now. He gets the Maelstrom Portal, which doesn't really accomplish anything. So yeah.
So unless he wants to hex this Doomsayer, it's proccing at the end of this turn.
Yes, yes. So I think these early turns here are deciding the tempo the game will take. So either he's gonna be saying, "Hey, I can handle that mid to late game, and I will probably outvalue you," or he will say, "I need that tempo now, and I approach just the faster road."
Right.
Well, that will take a while now, so
Yes,
lean
Lifecoach
back.
is living up to his namesake.
We also have to say, like, these early turns are super, super important. If you do a slight mistake here, especially with like more aggressive deck, you are ending up losing that game.
Well, it's funny, but it's difficult to know whether you even call this Shaman an aggressive deck. Because, yeah, it does run the Pirate package, but then it also runs this heal, it runs the Thunderbluff Valiant, it has a late game win condition.
I think the main strategy is like you run the Pirate for like counter the opponent's pirates to get the board, and then like get the big value with like the healer in, so they can't burn you down, and you develop your stronger mid-game creatures and just win. But we see the Blue Eagle Warrior, and I am really curious if Gaara runs Finja, because I do really want to see Finja.
Lifecoach made the exact same play you were saying then, by the way, just Searing Totem trading in, missing the damage but preventing the cheap Solemn Vigil. That being said, Gaara did still squeeze Loot Hoarder into the curve. Could have done it with Bluegill Warrior as well.
Yes.
Do you think Gaara saves Bluegill Warrior and plays it on a turn where he can trade it in immediately to prevent the hex?
Yeah, I would assume so, because you can also get like a War Leader and maybe buff it up to trade into like, let's say, an Azure Drake, like we see here. I do really like Lifecoach's line, I think, with not hexing, because he has like a Thunderbluff in the hand, he had a Drake already, so he probably can stall out the game a bit longer and get maybe the aggression he needs against Gaara, because he has like a very long-lasting hand. So I like the line he took there.
Okay, Gaara playing the horse. Getting his Discover. Obviously, we can't see what he's choosing. Not a snap decision, though, which either means several good options or several bad options.
It's not often a snap decision, especially when you have, like, Discover choices, I feel like.
Right.
So we get the...
Smuggler's Run. 1 mana, buff everything in your hand by 1/1.
Ooh, so we get big Murlocs. It's especially nice with the, like, Acolyte of Pain in the hand, so you might get, like, extra draws. That's very cool.
Yeah, Smuggler's Run is very nice with Acolyte. Turning it into a 2/4 almost makes it like an Imp Gang Boss. And it's not actually that often that we see Imp Gang Boss killed in one hit.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, but Gaara can just do these greedy picks with Discoverer, because he didn't take that much damage in the early game, and this happened because of the Doomsayers he had early on, and now he can do the picks he really likes to, and doesn't need to get, like, let's say, a Lay on Hands to get the 8 health, for example. So that's very nice for him, and Lifecoach, he will have to figure out a way to get back on tempo track.
Well, he's looking at that Azure Drake there, playing that, lightning bolting the horse, and trading his current Azure Drake into Loot Hoarder, I assume, which does get him back onto the board. And it does look pretty stable. Just considering his other options, is there any way Jade Lightning seems good this turn?
It's also the Jade Lightning is nice to maybe have a little bit of burn at the end.
Sure.
I think he was trying to get a Spell Power Totem here, so he could just play the Felnos and then Maelstrom everything away. That would have been really nice. But yeah, unfortunately he didn't get it. And then spawning the Jade here is not too bad. You get something on the board. Like, I think what you want to accomplish here as the Shaman is like develop a board which is just good enough to deal enough damage to the Paladin's face, but also doesn't overcommit.
Sure. And you know what beats a 4/4 Azure Drake?
Had a 5/5.
5 Azure Drake.
He was smuggling. Look at that filthy little dragon.
Unfortunately for Gaara, Lifecoach has a lot of different answers. He could now play the second Azure Drake and just lightning bolt away Gaara's one. I mean, this is the benefits of having a huge hand.
It's not only that, it's just like now the Shaman actually finally has the initiative on the board, and we see really how much a class like Shaman profits from that. You can suddenly go for the super effective board trades with the Maelstrom portal, and you get so much value from the spell power, for example. It's very, very crazy. Like, he just cycles his hand very comfortably and also like does very nice trades and just refills it, by the way, and deals face damage. That's Shaman for us, guys.
So how does Gaara actually get back on the board from here? He's got a quality consecration, but can you ever consider using that combo on 2 Azure Drakes?
I think you have to, because at some
the
point
Pyromancer obviously just got picked up as well.
he has everything now. I think you want to always use the Pyromancer together with the equality, because the consecration on its own is very nice against Shaman. So yeah, I think it's just like for Gaara, the goal is to drain the game just out till he has his finishers, like the war leaders, and when he gets the very good anythings out. So he wants to just slow down the game here and tries to not take too much damage.
It's really interesting spectating Lifecoach on the bottom here, because we haven't actually had many players before now actually, thumb through the bit on the left and check the game history. And it's nice to see Lifecoach's analytical nature, actually checking every move that was made and just trying to work out what Gaara's got in his hand.
Yeah, he's just like taking every information he can get and tries to like just calculate his way through, and you see very often it's working out for him.
Yeah.
He's very much in his zone when he's playing there. You see it.
So Gaara running out of time now, seeing both plays from both sides. Gonna just play Consecration and I guess Bluegill Warrior to clear one of these Drakes up.
Okay. Ooh, 3-2.
Yeah, I forgot it was a 3-2. Oh, casting Grimy Goons cards is hard.
It's okay. So what do you have here? Flame Tongue is not a bad pickup. Like, as soon he develops the board, the Flame Tongue will be really nice, because the Flame Tongue is a nice thing about the Shaman. You can like just have like some little tokens and put a decent amount of pressure on like control decks like Paladin here, and they don't really want to remove it. So what would you like to see here? Like Thunderbluff seems decent, but you rather want to play him to push immediate damage with the totems. So I would like to see maybe something like the Totem Golem here. You can also consider dropping the thing from below, or maybe just even heal your Azure Drake up. So
yeah, he's got a lot of options when it comes to playing these totems. If Lifecoach wanted to, he could play Totem Golem and Flame Tongue Totem and Hero Power, though the question is, how wide does he want to go? He's seen one Consecration, which is obviously a great card against a board full of totems, but he knows there's still 2 equalities and 2 pyromancers in the deck.
I think you want to keep the thing from below for after a board clear, because they are really cheap, big stat. They're really cheap and have a big stat line, so that's very nice. I think you just play maybe the healer on the Azure Drake.
Yeah.
And then because what Lifecoach is saying here, the Paladin by now drew so many cards, he probably has heal in the hand, so the face is not the place.
That makes a change this tournament.
And he just wants to put the board threat there and say, hey, at one turn you will not remove the board, and because you underestimate the power of the Shaman, and then he just gives him one crackling hit to the face.
So Gaara gonna conserve. I feel like the Equality and Pyromancer in his hand are probably the 2 most important cards right now, but he needs to conserve them until absolutely necessary.
Exactly.
Lifecoach sat on the other side of things is also going to be conserving his Thunderbuff Valiant. Think from below until either he can deal as much, like a lot of damage immediately, or until he knows the Equality and Pyromancer's gone. So we might have a bit of a stalemate for a while now, which is going to benefit Gaara, I think.
It's very, very close, because Lifecoach does have the resources to put the pressure just enough on the Paladin, maybe. So if Gaara missteps just only 1 turn, he might ending up losing. So what do we have here? There's like a lot of options. You can even consider hexing that Acolyte so he doesn't draw the cards.
Okay.
It's like Imp Gang boss for control decks here, huh?
Yeah,
like
it's
you
crazy.
You get the card draw instead of the tokens.
There seem to be so many hex targets that Gaara's got, because again, like, Doomsayer was an option earlier, hexing this is an option, and then there's still Murlocs and still, we assume, Tyrion in Gaara's deck.
Is there Tyrion? That might... maybe normally there's Tyrion in a lot of the Paladin decks, but sometimes they just don't run it to have like... Maybe he has Finja now.
Okay.
The Rising Star. I want to see that card.
I just can't imagine it. I think it messes with the combos.
Oh, so cute.
That's not the cute one, though.
That's not the cute one.
The orange one's the cute.
Oh, it's not orange.
There have been some arguments about that backstage today.
So this is very interesting here. Decides to drop the flame tongue to push a bit more damage. The Just Red gets removed from the True Silver, so Q-Raider to cycle a little bit more. Very interesting. Does it also mean he runs maybe like Kodo in his deck?
Well, definitely a Zerdrake, definitely a Murloc, possibly Kodo. It wouldn't be unheard of for Paladin decks to run Stampeding Kodo. We can see there's 2 Outdoor Peacekeepers there, which combo very nicely. Let's not forget those Outdoor Peacekeepers are 4/4s right now.
So we see the horse once again.
Okay, another board clear.
That is very, very nice. It heals you for 6 and gives you another board clear and develops the 4/4 body. So
the downside is that so you could say Gaara can now play Equality Pyromancer or Pyromancer Equality and then allow Lifecoach to go really wide. But the thing is, because of the heal for 6, Lifecoach almost definitely knows what spell that is.
that is true. That is very true. I mean, there's also like Avenging Wrath, but it's very true that it's.
That was quite a fast decision, though.
It's hard to make reads like that as
Yeah.
a player, but it's possible that you assume that it's the board clear then. Picks up the second Jade Lightning, yeah.
So are our Jade minions 2/2s now?
They're 2/2s.
Still not that much.
It doesn't really matter. I think the Jade minions here and there are nice to have, but it's more about how do I develop my board the right way.
Yeah.
How much damage can he put on there now? He could play the Thunder Bluff and get immediately 2 from the Searing Totem. This is very, very hard because you're running out of resources slowly, but you still have to put the right amount of pressure on the pattern. So Lifecoach, the game is slowly slipping away, but he will find a way. Maybe you even want to cycle that Felnos, so you just play it.
Okay. He's going with the Valiant now.
He's going to Valiant and says it's time.
He absolutely knows that this board is probably not going to stick around.
This board is going to get cleared.
But I assume he holds on to that thing from below so that he can maybe go as wide as possible
He
afterwards.
will definitely hold on to it. Yeah, the problem for Lifecoach here is like Gaara has even 2 board clears now and the heal and the cycle. It's like it's an embarrassment of riches, I guess, for him, and Lifecoach just running out of options. Like maybe a card like Bloodlust would be very nice here.
Yeah. I am wondering which board clear Gaara goes for. It looks like he is going with the Equality.
It doesn't seem like it.
No?
It's very nice to have like the Enter the Colosseum here because the actual threat dies, which is the Valiant. So there's just like a Totem Golem there and a 4/4 Alder just.
Right. Lifecoach did just go over it then in the history. Like, what? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, he made the Alder made that Totem Golem a lot cuter. Yeah.
So now Jade Lightning just looks very, very clean as a method to start to swing the board back into your favor. Jade Claws, obviously, it's kind of a way that Lifecoach can go wide without using up his huge threats.
So that's very interesting. This might be a point of the game where Lifecoach has to say, I have to go all in and hope he doesn't have another board clear. But it's not even like Gaara already had a board clear. He just used the board clear he got from the Ivory Knight. So yeah.
There are 9 cards left in Gaara's deck, and we've seen 1 Consecration. That's it. So Lifecoach expects 2 Equalities, 2 Pyromancers, and another Consecration. I guess Consecration on its own.
Oh, he didn't count that Jade Lightning. The Jade Claws, right? He wanted to play them, I guess.
Alright. So
yeah, he was just like, help. He just moused over it like, oh man. Yeah, that's funny.
So this is probably the end of the game then. Or do you think Lifecoach has a way to come back after this board gets cleared now that he's kind of gone all in? I guess Thanos does give him 1 more card.
I think he has a second Valiant left, but it's time runs out.
Yeah.
Time runs out. Totem Golem number 2. We get more Jade.
Okay, well it's a 3/3 now.
I think
not a bad board.
I think if Lifecoach top deck something like Aya, he could have enough pressure to get the Paladin because you get 2 additional bodies and the Jade Golems are growing. But the problem is like Gaara, he's still like, do I heal? Do I develop? How do I win?
Yeah. Anything can happen is ready to go from Gaara as well. Although I believe we've just seen a single Bluegill Warrior and that's it.
That's it, yes.
So, which is pretty weird considering, again, Gaara now has 7 cards left in his deck. He's seen 1 Murloc.
I would have maybe liked to see Lifecoach preserving his burst cards a bit more, like the Jade Lightnings, like for have like a bigger reach. That would have been something he could have done. The one turn where he developed his Thunder Bluff, that was the turning point, I think. So very discussable, but also very like these are the real hard matchups, like especially as a shaman, because you have to say what do I play around, how much pressure do I develop. It's like very skill heavy.
Right.
So what do we get here? I think Gaara is just gonna develop that wall leader and keep going. Maybe he can also heal because he doesn't want to die.
You might be starting to feel the pressure here. You just have a single taunt, 9 health. I guess the only way Lifecoach really has of removing this easily is Hex, so Gaara might consider quite safe.
There's also 1 Hex out already, and
yeah.
The taunt is enough to make you feel comfortable, right? Because you realized you didn't play against like aggro shaman, more like mid-range shaman. Ooh, that Finlay is gonna mess up that anything. I don't think he's gonna make the fish big.
I was really confused for a moment there because I was expecting Finlay to get the buff, but obviously they changed it recently.
Yeah, they did change it.
So Lifecoach punished by the
punished by
buff
Blizzard.
to Murlocs.
Yeah.
Or buff to his opponent's Murlocs.
So what do we do with Lightning Bolt? Probably nothing. Like I think Lifecoach is basically hoping here. Maybe he has none of his forbidden healings, but yeah, I think it's gonna come down now, and then it will also like close the game out. Like
yeah.
He can just
at that point, there's no way to come back. How are you dealing 29 damage?
Yeah, that's the point.
Or even just 23 damage.
So yeah, Harrison Jones would have been a nice draw when there were actually Trucivers around, so
yeah, right.
He's gonna find nothing for his museum today.
Well, there may or may not still be a Tyrion somewhere in this. Oh no, there's 3 cards left in Gaara's deck. 1 must be an Anything Can Happen. 1 must be a Bluegill Warrior.
And 1 must be a Finja.
Right, and 1 must be a Finja, yeah.
I mean, come on.
I still don't believe it. I'm not buying it. Unless you know something that I don't.
I don't know it, but it would be definitely considerable, I guess.
Lifecoach may just not concede just to try and get more information out of Gaara's deck. There's the Anything. So we knew these cards were coming.
Oh man, we're not gonna see the last card of his deck.
That is really gonna bug me.
Yeah, it is. It is. So yeah, just like Gaara's like trying to sail out with the victory. I don't think Lifecoach can do much here. Hex is the wall leader to get like to make the Anything a bit worse, but I don't think he has enough resources to stall. Like there are no taunts. I think the Anythings will close out the game anyways. So
we're gonna see
what is it? Last card.
Equality!
So it was just no Tyrion, no Finja, just very cycle heavy with the
no
Curator.
Ragnaroses.
Also no beasts with the Curators. Basically just the Drakes and the Murlocs. Interesting.
You probably don't mind that so much, though. 7 mana, 4/6 taunt, draw 2 cards.
It's like
pretty good.
a better Ancient of Lore, like in the old days. So I think it's fine. Concede button it is for now.
Leaving Lifecoach with just his Priest and his Warlock.
Yeah, interesting. I feel like he might pick the Warlock because the Priest is very vulnerable to the equality clears. So, but he might also. The good thing about the Priest, you don't really run out of resources, right? Because you have like now the operatives. You can even just go and pick the fishes. Like you can just pick Anything from the opponent with the operative.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because back in the days they could just. What could they do? They just pick your. You just pick their Anything now, and back in the day they couldn't do that, so they would just finish you down with them.
Right, yeah, or unless they happen to run a Thought Steal and got the Anything Can Happen from Thought Steal. But now, as you say, Dragonkin Operative actually does give them the choice between 3 cards, which is a much higher chance than Thought Steal.
Yes.
So that could be
a much higher chance.
Yeah. Oh, Thought Steal, you get 2 cards at random. This time you get the choice between 3. And obviously you get the Operative twice. You could even play it with Bran. It's actually a pretty high chance that the Priest can pull that off.
Yes, I feel so. I feel like Priest might be the right pick. Also, I know that our Renolock is a bit more there to counter the aggressive deck, so it's not as good against this particular Paladin deck. So I would really like to see him picking the Priest there. I think it's a fine pick.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely a tough decision. I think I mean, were you expecting Paladins in this tournament at all?
No, I wasn't expecting Paladins, but if somebody brings Paladin, it's probably Gaara, right?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe as soon as Lifecoach saw his group and what his first game was, maybe then he expected a little bit of weirdness. But the thing is, you can't exactly build a deck around around the idea that a weird deck is going to be in the tournament, because you don't just have to beat Gaara, you'd have to beat everyone else as well in the quarterfinals onwards.
A deck like the Paladin maybe has a surprise factor, but it's usually, if it wears like some kind of weird deck, it normally means it's not really strong. That's the point. So,
and as far as Gaara's surprise factor goes, we've just seen every card in the deck. All of the players backstage have just seen every card in the deck. So while it may have been a surprise at first, now they know exactly what to play.
Yeah, because before you weren't sure, is it maybe the Murloc Paladin or the Aggro Paladin? But now you know for sure. I feel also like the Doomsayers early on, if you get them as the Murloc Paladin player, you're in a very, very good shape suddenly, because suddenly you can cycle with the Vigils, you can just set up your weapons nicely so you get the traits. You don't need to use your equalities or consecrations. It's like so much better to get a Doomsayers.
He just completely put a stop to Lifecoach developing his board in the early game. And like you said, the Solemn Vigils, the fact that he got Doomsayer into Solemn Vigil once and then Doomsayer into Solemn Vigil again immediately after that was pretty devastating for Lifecoach.
So I hear the second game is starting, so let's check it out. Pretty excited.
Okay, he did go with the Priest. You called it right.
Yeah, I think it would be quite a shame as his practice partner to not call what he's going to queue, right?
Like I said, you're incredibly valuable to cast this game with. Hopefully we can get Lifecoach to cast your one later.
He did cast my matchup.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, right. He did. Interesting. You can decide to keep the pain. To deal with the Doomsayers, maybe even with the Acolytes. It's not a bad pick.
Priest of the Feast is an interesting card. What's the thought behind that?
So it's just like we also have like the Potion of Madness. You can just very nicely steal a pirate, trade them into the opponent's pirate, and also heals you nicely. So if you heal more, you can just also get like greedier picks with your operatives. It's very nice.
Priest of the Feast is not a card we've seen, I think, at all today, unless it was a game that I missed. A Potion of Madness we have seen a little bit.
That is very interesting if you keep the pain or not. It's a very hard decision. He decides not to because he says, I will need the early pressure.
Why is he keeping the Drake?
He keeps the Drake to just have a dragon for the dragon activators like you see here. Like you need it for the Historian. And that's a very nice curve from his side. And this time Gaara didn't get like the Doomsayer start. We see double anything in his hand, which is like super dead.
It's not necessarily a bad thing though, because that prevents Drakenkin Operative from stealing anything can happen. Meaning that potential win condition we were talking about for the Priest has just been taken away from Lifecoach.
I would have maybe liked to see Lifecoach picking the Bookworm there to like deal with Doomsayers more efficiently.
Okay.
But what he's saying, he needs the card draw. I don't mind either way. I think Bookworm or Azure Drake are both very viable.
This is looking like a very strong curve from Lifecoach. If he goes with the Cabal Talon Priest now, it deals with the Blue Warrior, it deals with any 1/1s that Gaara might summon.
That's true. That's very true. What he says, he maybe wants to get the second Historian down to play also around the Coin True server. I don't mind this line a lot.
And this also deals with the Blue Warrior and the 1/1s.
Nefarian, this is an interesting. Deathwing. He's the biggest boy there.
Nefarian could get him anything can happen.
He can do that, but the Bookworm maybe fits his curve better.
Yeah.
I mean, also the nice thing about a Dragon Priest against this pattern, you just keep getting big dragons and they start hitting the face of the paladins, and at some point I think the paladin just runs out of removal.
Right. Yeah, you really like the idea of Lifecoach picking up this Bookworm, don't you? The previous one as well.
I think the Bookworm is good because it hurts a lot to eat a Doomsayer for a paladin, because what he has been thinking, he must be thinking is like the paladin is going to clear the board and then drop a Doomsayer, and if he doesn't have like a Bookworm or a Shadow Word Pain available there, he will eat up an entire turn.
Right.
So yeah, you don't want to see that happening.
Pretty unfortunate for Gaara, actually, that he hasn't picked up either of the Doomsayers just yet. I mean, like you said, two anything can happens are sat there very, very dead in his hand for the time being. And Lifecoach just able to continue to develop the board, keeping his Nether Sprite Historians alive.
I mean, it's not that unlikely he doesn't get one Doomsayer in the early games, like pretty much 50-50. He gets one in the first 5 turns. Last time he even had both, so yeah, lucky him. And now the Corruptor is like very, very good. You gotta develop a 5/4, kill the opponent's Drake. Yeah, I think the Priest is very much in the driver's seat here. It will take a lot longer, the game, though, because we see both Alders in the pad in hand. We see an equality clear already. This match will be really, really close, I think.
All right, so Adult Peacekeeper is the first choice of Gaara's, just to get rid of the damage on the board here. Seems pretty good. You don't want to use.
Oh, look at that potion! That potion is crucial for Gaara. Like,
oh, you're right.
You steal that loot hoarder, and now you're the one who's going to loot.
That is incredible.
And you even remove, you just remove the free, get an extra card. That's pretty convenient, don't you think so?
It's pretty crazy to compare Potion of Madness with Shadow Madness, really. The 3 mana difference.
Yes.
And only 1 attack difference.
Yes. And the Operative is there. And Bran Operative, that's something really, really disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this Dragon Priest now is just gonna stomp him.
Though, what does Lifecoach actually want to steal that's still remaining in Gaara's deck? Because we've seen there aren't actually any more big threats. There's no Tyrion, there's no Ragnaroses, there's no Finja.
Just getting True Silvers is nice because developing a weapon while your opponent wants to clear the board, you just get additional damage down. What else could you get? Maybe some card draw. Yeah.
Maybe information even about what's actually in Gaara's hand. Because if we do see Bran into Draken Operative, then Lifecoach actually gets to see 6 cards that's in Gaara's deck, or at least 3 cards 2 times. Likely 6 different cards.
You got another anything here. I think Lifecoach knows that now. Yeah, that's also a strength of the Operative, right? It doesn't only give you the card, it also gives you the information. But first of all, the deck is still in his card. It makes it more unlikely he has in the hand.
Yeah.
And second of all, you get the extra card, which is like super insane. And a super big body. Like, the card is just like,
yeah, right.
I am broken.
5 mana, 5/6 on its own. Used to be a neutral minion that was kind of not good enough, but okay in the arena, the Pit Lord.
Yeah, but this does everything.
Not Pit Lords. I don't remember what the card was called.
So how much damage does Lifecoach need actually on the board? He already has 9. He could decide to go for the Cleric to get some card draw in, but he already has a lot of card draw. You could say you just play an Azure Drake because it cycles itself anyways, and you have enough dragons. I think I would like to see the Azure Drake and maybe trade the Talon Priest away and 1/1 Corruptor.
I don't mind that. You definitely... Like trading in the 1/1 and the 3/4 is fine. There's no reason to make your board go too wide. We still haven't actually seen a board clear yet, so... Lifecoach knows it's coming eventually, but what he needs to do is try and force out the board clear on a board where it's just not really worth it. And it's possible that 2 4/4s with spell damage might actually be a board that demand one of the clears.
It's also 9 damage on a board. I mean, you don't really want to play against a 9 damage board.
Gaara is going to stand his ground for just a little bit longer.
I like how Gaara is doing that. He's just like very patient with his board clears and tries to like minimize the board pressure. He keeps his equality clear. He plays the horses to get like more health and more resources. That's very nice.
Right.
So how is it going to be here? You could go Bran Operative when you have exactly 9 cards for next turn, and you get more resources. And you can just trade your Azure Drake away because when you actually don't overexpand. I would like to see that maybe.
It does seem strong because Gaara then actually has to deal with the Bran as soon as possible. And also looking at Lifecoach's hand at the moment, like when else is he going to get value with Bran anytime soon? Like, okay, he could play Bran as Drake. It just doesn't seem quite as good. So I think it's a pretty good chance to play Bran here.
What is he doing there? It's interesting.
Cleric
heal. Okay.
Oh no.
And so I just guess he's going with the Holy Nova here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Just get the extra draws in.
Sure, why not?
I
I
think
guess.
Lifecoach's plan is just like, I will never run out of resources. Either you gonna remove my board at some point or you die.
Well, the Paladin is never a deck that goes too wide until anything can happen gets played, and therefore Lifecoach probably figured there's no real reason to hold on to Holy Nova any longer. It's a free board clear. It allowed him, sorry, a free card draw. It allowed him to clear the board without trading anything in. So yeah, seems good.
It seems very good, yeah. So this is where things get tricky for Gaara, right? I mean, you might just start clearing with the equality, or you can just say, I just remove one Azure Drake with my Blue Eagles. So
Ooh. He does have Consecration. That's the leftmost card that we can't quite see.
yes.
Consecration into both Bluegill Warriors is actually a way to deal with the Azure Drakes.
Yes. I mean, the funny part is Lifecoach will just be like, yeah, I got like 8 other dragons in my hand. Have fun, mate.
He's gonna go with the regular board clear here. Pyromancer into equality.
It's a very green board all of a sudden. You might call it.
He's played Redemption. I can hear the secret. There we go. Okay.
Oh.
So he wants an extra Bluegill Warrior for when anything can happen happens,
Oh.
which is very greedy considering he does have 3 anything can happens in his hand.
So what's going on here? Which big dragon do I play? You could. I mean, you already saw one Aldor. That's very interesting.
There's not much space left in Lifecoach's hand, so
Yeah.
Bookworm actually doesn't seem too horrible here.
Bookworm seems fine because you already have the Pain for the Doomsayer.
Yeah.
You can also say I get rid of my Priest of the Feast and my Operative, which is very mana efficient. And we all know what Lifecoach likes the most is mana efficiency. Efficiency in general, that's his thing.
Well, now that he has the second operative in his hand, there's no reason to hold on to them both until Brand comes out. He can play one.
I like this Bookworm.
Yeah.
You already have the Shadow of Pain in hand, and now you can also play the Talon Priest on it.
Yeah.
He's afraid of War Leader, or was his? I don't think the War Leader is too much of a concern here.
So do you think he was considering playing Shadow Word Pain as well?
Nah, I don't think. He was maybe for like a second, but he was like, nah, I need this for the Doomsayer.
If Gaara picks up Murloc War Leader anytime soon, then we are going to start to see these anything can happens.
Yeah,
3
but
Bluegill Warriors.
Yeah.
But that's it so far, right? I don't think we've seen a War Leader yet.
The interesting part here is actually that he has both anythings already in the hand, so they can't get stolen.
Not just yeah, right, exactly.
So how much damage do we have here? Just not enough. This Operative is probably going to steal a True Silver, and that's gonna hurt Gaara a little. If this Operative gets a True Silver, we have 6, 10. We have. Oh, he would be 2 damage off lethal.
Yeah, Lifecoach is getting close, but we do see the Forbidden Healing in Gaara's hand. That is 20 extra health if Gaara wants to use that.
Yeah, the problem here is well for Gaara, like if he wants to heal at the turn where there's already big board for the opponent, the Forbidden Healing is not very efficient because he will just instantly lose that health again.
Right.
So yeah, I would like to see the Operative here. Lifecoach does have a lot of resources, and he needs to have like more pressure on the Paladin. Secret Agent and the True Silver is there.
I mean, you were absolutely right when you said there was such a high chance of the True Silver being picked up. 16
You have
cards.
16 cards, you get 3, so
Yeah, it's pretty good.
you get about 30% to get at least a pick of one of the True Silvers. It's very nice.
Yeah. And now Gaara's on 8 health, so he kind of has to start healing unless he picks up an equality here, which he didn't.
Doomsayer heal. I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about now. He does have the heal, that's very nice for him. But there's also like a lot of damage on the board, even with the Alder. So he goes up to 22 here. And now the True Silver is very nice because it gives you an additional 8 damage.
Right, so that's actually, what's that, 14 damage. Ready to go for Lifecoach right now, meaning that heal didn't really have a lasting effect.
Exactly. So he's just gonna play a True Silver, trade that down, and then just gonna jam the face. I mean, he already has 10 damage on the board. I don't think it demands more pressure on the Paladin. He has to remove that board, and if he doesn't do so, he will die. And 3 anythings. I don't know, we have a war here. Murlocs versus Dragons. And I feel like the fire spying dragons are like having the upper hand here.
Yeah, well, the problem is for Gaara is, well, firstly, he hasn't had a war leader yet, and secondly, it's the fact that anything can happen costs 10 mana. If he uses it, that's his whole turn. And does he actually have time to use it? He gets 3 Bluegill Warriors. That clears maybe Priest of the Feast, but that's it. Or just Cabal Talon Priest.
Yeah, without the war leaders, these Murlocs are not really like
Yeah.
competent fighters.
But if Gaara can maybe pick up a quality into Consecration first, then maybe get a war leader, then he could have time to play Anything Can Happen, but we're talking several turns away here.
So the Holy Nova is not exactly a bad pickup. It gives you 2 more reach. So Lifecoach has 14 damage on board. With the Holy Nova, he goes to 16.
He got the equality.
Quality Consecration, but Lifecoach does know now this is the last clear. And now the Shadowrod Pain in the hand, that's the thing what I'm talking about. You need it against this Doomsayer. Gaara really hopes this lasts when he can start chaining anything.
Ooh, Blowing Corrupted, not a bad pick. Not that Lifecoach needed it. I mean, as you
It's a
say,
good
it's a Shadowrod
pickup.
Pain.
It's a very good pickup. I think
But-
it's just gonna be Bran into Operative here maybe, and then Pain the Doomsayer.
Yeah.
You get a very strong board. You steal more cards. Yeah, I like it. Pain, Loot Hoarder, or Vigil. I think I would like to see the Loot Hoarder. You cycle through the card, and it puts a little bit of pressure on the board. So
Yeah.
the Vigil seems a bit too slow for me.
I agree, and there's no Wild Pyromancer, there's no way of pinging the Acolyte and
I
guaranteeing
don't
extra
think you
draws.
want to take the War Leader, right?
That's really...
You don't want
Risky
to. You
play.
don't want to buff. But
Wait,
this is very nice. This is what we were talking about earlier on. Why is he taking the? Oh, okay.
That was interesting.
He picks the War Leader to do.
Because if
Maybe-
he plays it, I guess, okay, so while it's still on the board, his War Leader isn't going to be buffing
Yes,
Gaara's
yes.
cards.
So he just picks it as a general free.
But as soon as it dies, suddenly Gaara's 3 Anything Can Happens become really strong. Gonna play 1 now to clear the Operative. And now, the next 2...
That's just lethal. It's just Corruptor into Holy Nova and
Oh, right, of course. Bran into Corruptor is 6 damage. True Silver Champion
Yeah.
is 10.
die, Paladin. Your job is done, Paladin.
You're right, though. You called that right from the start. You said that it seemed favored for Lifecoach, but that it was going to be a close, long game. And it was. But there you go. What do you put Lifecoach's win down to, though?
The win.
Yeah.
The
What
win.
what is the actual reason that he won that game?
I think it's just like the stable pressure of the Dragon Priest. You like the pure amount of pressure you can put on your opponent while cycling through your deck and still having like a lot of big creatures on the board. That's the point. Like the Paladin, he will be able to like maybe shrink some of your creatures, also remove your boards. But at some point, you saw here, he's just out of removal. Like I think the Paladin maybe wins if you put the Murlocs out early and get nice anythings down. But
Sure.
even then, the Operative might like just pull in anything and you die
Yeah.
after you played your first.
We
so.
both mentioned this at some point during the game, but it was kind of a double-edged sword for Gaara, because if he had both anythings in his opening hand,
Mhm.
which meant that Operative couldn't steal it, but it also meant his hand was so dead. And taking the third one, after also taking Redemption to get an extra Murloc, it did seem really greedy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like one of the greediest things I've seen today.
Sadly, we didn't see the other discovered choices,
No.
right? It's because Gaara is not here on stage. Yeah, but what can we do? Yeah, so what's coming up next? I think Lifecoach has now his Priest and a Reno Warlock left.
Yep.
And Gaara has left, I think, a Shaman, was it?
I don't remember. I don't have his deck list noted down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it was a Warrior and a Shaman. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I really hope these are more aggressive decks, because when Lifecoach has a good shot, he has a good shot with his Priest.
Someone incredibly biased here, but I'm not at all surprised. How long have you and Lifecoach been practicing together for?
I guess as much time the days give us. Yes, we try to be very efficient with our time. That's true, but I think it pays off. I don't know if I'm that biased. It's just like Yeah, I guess if you have a practice partner and you hang out with him a
You're
lot.
definitely allowed to be. It's okay. Don't worry.
And we're gonna see. I just want to see a good series. Like Gaara definitely also has a shot, and yeah, we are up for surprises. And the next match is going to start soon, guys. So enjoy it.
Okay.
It's
We can hear something. It's starting.
Anduin versus Thrall.
yeah,
Yes,
so,
you were right. Warrior and Shaman for Gaara.
Yeah. So let's see. Gaara is normally. I mean, his name is
Gaara
normally
best
Gaara
shaman,
best
right?
shaman. Yes. So Lifecoach just keeping the Guardian here, and yeah, Gaara is just playing the aggressive shaman.
Nothing too surprising then. I was wondering if maybe we'd see Crusher Shaman or something different a little bit.
Oh, you
I
think
don't know.
like how is it called? The Bogchamp shaman.
Yeah, right.
That's a very cool deck.
Bogchamp, that's a good name for it.
Yeah, Bogchamp. Yes, what do we see here? I see Pirates and Totem Golem. The Totem Golem is very much a pain for Lifecoach here because neither the Cleric nor the Twilight Whelp does really deal with that.
No. Shadowword Pain would, but it's not
yeah,
there.
I think Lifecoach only wants a one-off, so it's a bit tricky for him here. The problem is like there's only not just gonna be a Totem Golem there. There's also gonna be the Pirate with the patches spawning and even a Flame Tongue Totem standing ready there. I think this is gonna be one of the more tricky ones for Lifecoach. The good news is he runs Potion of Madness, which really helps in this matchup.
Right. The combination you mentioned earlier, Priest of the Feast into Potion of Madness, deal with 2 minions, heal for 3 health. You're right, there's some great cards. Are they cards that Lifecoach... I guess Potion of Madness is a card that maybe Lifecoach would mulligan for.
I'm pretty sure he would keep it, yes.
Yep.
Yes, this Totem Golem. Totem Golem is still just such an incredible strong 2-drop, so you see here he's just gonna farm this dragon, maybe also the Cleric. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how good the Pirate synergizes with the Flame Tongue Totem.
And everything else.
And
the
everything
weapons,
else, yeah.
other classes. Pirates are everywhere right now.
Yes, you have to play even Pirates in Reno, like I heard.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I heard that too. Just because Patches is such a crazy card.
He's so cool, and when the cannon appears, and poof.
And he's in charge.
He's in charge. Oh, man. It's very interesting here what you do with this Totem Golem if you trade into a Cleric or the Twilight Whelp, but I think you want to trade into the Whelp since it's just more about board.
Yeah, if you're playing Small Time Buccaneer, you definitely trade into the Whelp because it can't then kill it for free. But it's a little bit awkward just because there's no weapon in hand or on the board. And at the same time, it's awkward to not play Small Time Buccaneer because every turn that you don't play a pirate, you're more likely to actually draw patches.
Yeah, that's true, but it's not very likely, but yeah, very likely it's true. So
1 in 24. I've seen worse odds.
so he's gonna trade, let's see, Cleric. Yeah, he's afraid of the card draw, but then he's not gonna play the Buccaneer, right?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting line, I feel like. Very, very, very.
Is that interesting? Like you disagree with it? Interesting?
I will just leave the interesting here. But maybe it pays off because he has the Flame Tongue here, but it immediately gets a little bit punished because he drew the Horse Rider. Yeah. I
Okay.
don't know.
Horse Rider, if the Flame Tongue Totem does survive, then Horse Rider could be very strong next turn. Patches getting buffed by the Flame Tongue Totem. Gonna clear up Twilight Whelp in 1 hit. That was a pretty good use of the cards from Gaara there.
It's a very good use of the cards.
Take note of the positioning, everyone back home.
He's not called Gaara Best.
Right.
So the Twilight Guardian has to come down here. Unfortunately, the Flame Tongue Totem gets so much value here, but the Corruptor is probably going to deal with that problem.
Yeah, I mean, take your pick, Gaara. He can trade the Totem Golem and play Maelstrom Portal if he wants to, and then just hit face with Small Time Buccaneer. Is Horse Rider?
I do like the Maelstrom here. Like
Yeah.
you have 2 anyways, and you just get a nice value and another token on the board. And the Runic Egg is such a crucial
Oh my
pickup.
goodness.
It's just like an extra card. You remove the look at Lifecoach thing over the egg. He's like, no, I am just trying to deal with the pressure.
On the plus side, at the moment, Runic Egg can't do anything because Lifecoach is going to get rid of the Flame Tongue Totem. It's going to draw Gaara a card at some point, whether that's when Holy Nova comes down or whether Gaara picks up a Flame Tongue Totem first. But at the end of the day, at the moment, Runic Egg, Lifecoach can just ignore it for now.
That is true. That is very true. But he will also try to clear the board. And as you said, like if the Holy Nova comes down, the extra card, it's always relevant.
Yep.
So what is Gaara's turn here? Just Lava Burst and try to keep the board.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's actually looking decent now for Lifecoach because he was able to remove the Flame Tongue and he can just cycle with the Azure Drakes now.
Yeah, Gaara kind of has a lot of nothing on his board. There's still no weapon buffing up the small.
Is the big deal, and also like as the thing from below will just get Shadow or Deft, he can cast Pain on like the Horse Rider, and Doomhammer is not playable this turn, which would be really good here, by the way.
Yeah, just to clean up the Drake.
So what we see here from Gaara is
Horse Rider would have been great here, just as a way to get rid of the Drake.
that's really painful for Gaara. Like this turn is not good at all, and the thing from below just gets Deft here.
Yeah.
So this might be like a comeback from Lifecoach here. It's very interesting.
I mean, I assume he still would like to pick up a Holy Nova sometime
That is a
soon.
very, very good pickup.
Running Dragonfire Potion or not? I don't think we've seen it
I
yet.
don't think he runs it. I know he doesn't.
Right, okay.
I will not. So I like. That's very interesting. I like maybe starting off with the Power Word Shield here. Just see what you get. If you get a Holy Nova, so be it. The board is cleared. If not, you just def the thing from below probably and play the Bran.
Yeah, I mean, you almost definitely can squeeze
That is
this Power Shield.
insane.
There you go, Kubal Talon Priest.
This is the
The perfect curve.
invincible dragon. No, this is a very, very good pickup.
Well, that being Flame Tongue Totem would still be very, very strong for Gaara right now.
But there's already one Flame Tongue Totem
Yep.
dead, right? The only problem I might be seeing here for Lifecoach is maybe the Doomhammer because there's no weapon removal in this priest.
Right.
And the board isn't important for Gaara anymore. I think he just wants to jam the face there. And he also has 2 chargers in the hand to support that line. Very nicely played from Lifecoach there to clear up the Buccaneer, as long as it's not big.
Yeah, Gaara picks up a Lightning Bolt, which is actually going to help.
That Maelstrom Ball sets up perfectly the kill on Italian, and then he can start hitting face. Good news for Lifecoach though, there's no Rockbiter in Gaara's hand, so that definitely helps out because the
Okay, well now once again going to get some information from inside Gaara's
it's
deck.
very, very scary also. Like you see the Shaman has 3 cards in the hand, he has a Doomhammer equipped.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd never feel comfortable to play against that.
Do you know if it's possible to get 2 of the same card with Operatives Discover?
Yeah, you can only get. You mean in the first pick or what?
Yeah, in the first pick.
No,
like,
I don't think it's possible.
Okay, so there's no way Lifecoach could get both Rockbiter weapons and think, oh, I'm safe.
No. You can not get that. But you might get one in the first discover and a second one in the second discover,
Could be
and
the
then
same
you can
one though, right?
same one, but it can also be the other one. So yeah.
Either way, goes with Twilight Drake instead this turn, fishing through his deck, probably searching for a Holy Nova at some point
I
soon.
think he's searching for more taunters.
Okay.
As soon as he gets a taunter, I think he can feel very, very safe. So, how much burst do we have from Gaara? He has 4, 7, 10, 14 bursts, but he can't play everything, so the maximum damage he can deal here is 8.
Yeah,
12.
I kind of feel like you want to save the Horse Riders, or try to, if you can, save the Horse Riders for a Flame Tongue Totem, although there are still 17 cards in Gaara's deck. I don't know exactly what I can hope to save these for.
You might as well just play the Horse Riders here and try to hit the face, because they are not exactly easy to remove, so maybe you
That's
get
true.
additional damage in.
Okay.
Yes, so I think maybe you also want to try roll totem here. You have a 50-50 and get additional damage with this lightning bolts in. Very, very interesting here for Gaara. It's like very much on the edge here. Like the game is just about to slip away from him. So he maybe just has 1 or 2 more turns left.
No spell power totem, so does he ever consider playing 1 lightning bolt to clear up Bran or the Azure Drake there with flame totem?
I don't think that's quite the winning line, trying to clear the board now. Like you really have to get the priest down now. I think he just roped out and he didn't get the Doomhammer hits in.
Ooh, Priest of the Feast. You said Lifecoach was looking for taunters, but this seems
This
almost
is
as
not
good.
a taunter, this is like someone who brings you nice and tasty food and
Nice and tasty funnel cakes.
it's chickens, he gives you chickens, right?
Well, it's supposed to be.
No, no, look at the chicken.
But blessed be my funnel cake.
Hum, 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 hum.
I just don't think that characters in this game know what a funnel cake is. The great Shadow Word Pain, though, dealing with the Horse Rider that you said very difficult to deal with. Well, not with Shadow Word Pain.
Yes.
20 health still. Lifecoach probably starting to feel quite safe, almost as safe as he would feel if he did get a taunt.
Yeah, I mean, you feel even safer now because the Doomhammer hits just didn't came in.
And is there ever a world where you consider playing Netherspite Historian here? You do get the Bran bonus, and you could pick up Twilight Guardians from it.
I don't know. You just want to have pressure here. You don't. Your opponent showed you already. He doesn't have a flame tongue. You just heal your face. Probably develop the Drake. I don't think you need that on the board.
Yeah, you're right. Healing the safe does.
And you also get a
feel safe.
2/5. That's a super Drake.
Yeah, super Twilight Whelp.
Yeah, this Totem Golem at this stage of the game is a pretty dead draw. Now you get the spell power, but it's a bit too late, I feel like,
Yeah,
here.
it's 14 damage, 16 including the Horse Rider. So Gaara's having to make the trades.
Yeah, and this is where you know you win normally as a priest player when they start using their burn on your minions. And there's still a Priest of the Feast on the board, by the way. Like, what you can do here, like, if you want to heal even more, you can get a spell from the Shaman's deck. Or might be a little bit of tilt also.
Look at this as well. We were talking about the Runic Egg earlier, and like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a big deal for Lifecoach because Gaara could get an extra card because of it. He
Yeah.
just sat there the entire game doing nothing after all.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, maybe there's one turn where Gaara roped out. Was very important. He basically missed like 6 damage. Like it would have brought Lifecoach down to 14, and maybe he would have had a shot with the Rockbiter or something. So
Sure.
yeah, missing out the attack there. That's very, very painful. And yeah, we heard he's playing from the hotel room, so maybe some issues there. I don't know.
Possibly, who knows? His only remaining deck though is the Warrior.
Yes.
So what are we expecting from that? Dragon Pirate or just Pirate? Because that seems to be the flavor of Warrior right now.
I feel like people who fought a bit more, like, or who prepared a bit more for the metagame, brought a Dragon Pirate Warrior. It also beats the Mirror more consistently. It's better against the Druids, I feel like. Oh, that's very close. I think it's about the Mirror and against the Shaman. You rather have the Dragon Pirate Warrior because it has a bit more creatures to deal with the early game of a Shaman and the Mirror. Extra's champion, you have the Fairy Dragon. So yeah, that's very, very interesting if it's the Dragon Pirates or not.
I didn't realize that when everyone says the Lifecoach plays very slowly, I didn't realize that even the between games bits are so slow with Lifecoach.
I think it's just about to maybe he goes over the game in his mind again, just tries to like refresh his mind. Like these series are super draining, and you just want to get the best of it, right?
And you know, he's got the time. Why not make the most of it? I really respect that in Lifecoach. Just using it, like you said, going through everything that happens, planning for the next game.
Yes, that's
now,
true.
Potion of Madness, is it a keep?
It is a keep, especially going, especially on the coin, because then you just see pirates on the first track.
Yeah.
And then you steal a pirate and kill the pirate.
Goes into the South Sea deckhand. And
that is very much the dream, but also just getting it into an Enso first mate. You're probably very, very happy, right?
I guess the only thing that doesn't work there is Patch is into Buccaneer.
Yes, yes.
But
so it is the dragon variant, and that does way, way better against the dragon priest and the pirates. The Buccaneer, but unfortunately,
There's no dragon.
no dragon, but he can coin out the Worm Rest, but when you get the... So that's... He has to probably just coin that 2-drop.
It does look like the only play, doesn't it? If he picks up a dragon next turn, and another dragon next turn, the next turn, Lifecoach can Twilight Whelp and Potion of Madness, potentially.
Exactly. Gaara also needs to pick up a Dragon War, like the Alexstras's champion is waiting to get activated, so... The dragons are waiting for both players. I mean, Lifecoach does have the Whelp too. Oh wow, that's very interesting.
Just wants to remove patches for 1 mana. Okay.
Okay.
It also weakens the small-time Buccaneer, though I'm not sure how much of a difference that actually makes to Lifecoach. He doesn't have anything that deals 1 damage.
Maybe he just wants to take the pressure away. He also wants to preserve the coin, it seems. I think I see what Lifecoach wants to do there. Get the buff on the Talon Priest without taking too much damage. Like, he wants to go Twilight Whelp into Talon Priest probably on turn 3.
Right.
Because once you get a minion stick as a priest, it's so much easier to take control of the game. Gaara picks up the dragon, which is very nice, but you also have an option of Finlay into end first mate. So
Okay.
what he does there with Gaara, I think he confuses him because Gaara thinks he maybe has a second Potion of Madness here.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Going-
Warlock against Priest is pretty much very good.
Yeah, we don't get to see the choices again, but other good hero powers, Mage one,
Mage is fine. You can activate a Grom if you run it. Maybe that's very nice.
and make efficient trades, I guess.
Yes,
If you ever are fighting for the board.
Second Talon Priest. It's not really what I see here. I feel like.
Yeah, because this Wormrest Agent is not surviving. So next turn, Lifecoach either has to coin out Priest of the Feast or play a 3-drop that's just a 3/4.
So this is very, very annoying for Lifecoach. Like, Gaara seems to have like just the right cards to get down these 1 health minions, which is annoying in the early game for the Priest. And they're just gonna get the valuable trades into the minions Priest is playing now. Also, like, Lifecoach didn't pick up the dragon, unfortunately. Like, now he can't go for a Twilight Whelp into Talon Priest line.
Yeah.
And that makes his play at the first turn way, way weaker.
It's sort of like the equivalent for Priest of drawing patches. Like, if
You
the
mean
pri-
not drawing dragons? I mean, that's way, way more unlikely.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, it's put a stop to most of what Lifecoach can do.
And now
Next turn, he can Priest of the Feast and coin out Powered Shield, which would also heal him a lot. Pretty strong against this deck.
And now the ward. Yeah, this is looking very, very bad for Lifecoach. I feel like the Priest of the Feast will give him like another 2. The Priest of the Feast is going to do some work. He gives him 6 health and gives him a 3/8 body, and that's not...
Which Gaara's going to have to deal with realistically, unless he believes that Lifecoach doesn't have any other
Yeah,
spells in
like
his
if Lifecoach would get a Holy Nova from this Powered Shield or something, it suddenly can turn around. This Tauren is... It's not what Lifecoach wants to see. He really wants to see like a Holy Nova here, maybe a second Potion of Madness or a Twilight Guardian number 2.
Or like almost any spell that can be activated just to heal him and do something to the board.
So what does Gaara do here? I don't think Gaara can respect the Priest of the Feast here. Maybe he just has to hope and play maybe even the Guardian and Ensov's first mate.
Okay. It's so awkward because Priest of the Feast has the ability, has the potential to just go crazy and complete the damage he does. But you're right, if Gaara starts trading with it, then he probably won't ever get the damage he needs to win the
If we
game.
see a Holy Nova here, this game is over.
Right.
The Holy Nova is really the card Lifecoach needs here. Maybe even Potion of Madness can do so. Oh my god, why is he so this game?
On turn 5, with Priest of the Feast, clearing the entire board, well, almost the entire board. I think Finley lives. What a pickup.
Oh my god, and more chicken. Yeah.
I mean, okay, you said the game would be over if Holy Nova got picked up. It doesn't seem like that's quite the case.
Okay.
There's 3 more damage going to the face with Alex Strauss' champion. The weapon, the ping, the Finley. Lifecoach is still down to, what, 5 or 4? 5. It just gets worse for Gaara.
Yeah. That's a very, very hungry priest. He's just eating the warrior.
This priest deck has been completely insane.
Yeah.
I think the priest deck, it looks like, assuming Lifecoach wins this, the priest deck has just swept.
Yeah, it's a good deck.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
So yeah, I guess we're going to paint that Alex Strauss' champion.
Heal.
You can even heal your face, like the Priest of the Feast is maybe just going to.
Yeah, it does show the strength of this card. One of the few cards that Priest got from Karazhan, which people were not excited about. But when Priest of the Feast works, it really works, especially against aggro.
Yeah. I think the only thing Lifecoach doesn't want to see here is a because he can't really deal with it. Like if a Crusher would come down here for Gaara, it would be a really good pickup. Yeah, I shouldn't call these cards. This keeps happening.
Every time, right?
Yeah, and suddenly Lifecoach lost the game.
Can you do this when you're in Gaara's position? Can you call out cards you want to draw and get them?
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, sorry, Adrian. This is like, yeah.
Execute is a card.
You just need a spell here, but I don't see the 2-mana spell you can pick up from the dragon.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, this changed quickly, and I should really stop calling these cards.
Oh my goodness! And that was me announcing that Lifecoach had just swept with Priest.
It's like kind of the caster's curse, right?
Yeah, you led me into a hole there, JJ.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man. I think it's pretty funny, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Lifecoach will think it's funny too if he then wins the next game.
I don't think this is. I mean, okay, this Warlock deck that has some surprises.
Oh.
It's like it's very funny.
Okay. Well, Warlock Arena Lock seems to be pretty good against this Dragon Pirate Warrior from what we've seen so far anyway. It's a very good anti-aggro deck thanks to cards like Mistress of Mixtures, Demon Fire, Hellfire, and then obviously Reno Jackson on turn 6.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. So yeah, let's see. I mean, it's very close series, like, and very long one as we expected. So it's gonna come down to Dragon Pirate Warrior against Renolock.
Yeah, there haven't been many series over the last couple of days, I think if we're honest, that have gone down to the final game, that have been this close. You've been a part of 2 series that were both 3-0 sweeps. So yeah, you know that not every single series goes fire.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. So yeah, I'm very excited for last game. It's yeah.
But knowing Gaara's deck, and I guess knowing Lifecoach's, as I assume you do, which player do you think is favored going into this?
It has to be Lifecoach. Like the Renolock especially is tagged against aggressive decks, and you just have the late game tools to deal with the Dragon Warrior, I feel like. But the Dragon Warrior, Dragon Pirate Warrior especially, can do things.
Right.
But what I can tell you, there's a lot of weapon hate in the Renolock.
Oh.
And
not the new 3-drop.
And maybe it got its own pirates. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've seen that already today at some point.
Yes.
Or yesterday.
Yesterday we had that, yeah. So yeah, it seems like both players are taking their time, and when we're gonna see the final game, as long as that is happening, I guess we keep talking, and Twitch chat keeps spamming Talkstone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
saying they want a sap. Probably just saying they want me sapped.
Yeah. So yes, the final game just started. We have the Renolock versus the Warrior. That's not quite what I was just looking for. I feel like he wants his early game cards like Doomsayer or Ooth.
Yeah, Earthen Ring is great, but not great at fighting for the board.
That's true.
Is he considering holding on to Twilight Drake here?
That's what he's considering. I feel so as well, but I feel like the Twilight Drake might be a bit too slow.
Yeah, I guess it depends how aggressive Gaara's start is. Again, if this was a Spirit build, then maybe you'd be a little bit more afraid of the early game. That being said, we did see Arcanite Reaper in the Discover that Lifecoach got. So it's actually a little bit more piratey and less dragony, I think, than the other builds that we've seen so far this tournament.
It's actually very interesting what we was conceding the game. Like I think also playing a Dragon Operative gave him information for the next game.
Right.
So now he runs the
That's
Reaper.
Okay, so Lifecoach picking up the Dirty Rat, which is kind of awkward to play on turn 2.
Yeah, you don't really want to be playing that. The problem here is like the minions you have here as Lifecoach, they don't really help you through the early game, and Gaara has a very, very aggressive start.
He's gonna tap,
He's
wow.
gonna tap MC Tech.
Sure. The second-rate Bruiser is looking really good right now for next turn.
Yes. You get a 4/5 card here is absolutely crushing it.
Looking at the current board, it deals with everything. And at the moment, there's no weapon in Gaara's hand.
This is very, very good.
If Gaara picks up a Fiery War Axe, suddenly this Bruiser doesn't look anywhere near as solid.
Yes.
Frothing Berserker also would be a pretty good card for Gaara.
But the Twilight Guardian will be able to stop that Bruiser for a while. But the MC Tech is gonna steal. And I've seen worse MC Techs in my life. But Gaara's considering trading.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting to see actually. Almost every option of this MC Tech is good. The Alexstrasza champion and Patches both have charge. The 3/6 is great because of its stats.
Yeah, because it's the biggest minion on board, yeah. 1/2 on it. Just nice because it swings the board on. And he plays around the MC Tech. That's a very, very heads-up play.
Yep.
I don't think you want to end up trading your whole board into that, though.
No.
So it's also very interesting.
Now, Twilight Drake. Lifecoach held on to it. It looks like this is probably the turn to play it. I'm guessing he's going to want to taunt this at some point, or maybe play a Faceless Shambler or something, just to make use of the high health that the Drake has.
So now Gaara just plays the second Twilight Guardian, I guess. I don't know. Ooh,
Warwick seemed okay. It wasn't quite able to deal with this Drake.
I don't know. I would have maybe liked to see Gaara just trading.
Okay, well, you mentioned anti-weapon tech. The question is, does Lifecoach play this now, or does he have to save it for a weapon?
You save it. Funnel Cakes is actually very nice. You get the health, your opponent doesn't get any health. It's like very decent. Next turn you can drop the Savannas. I think the Twilight Drake also does the tech. It's very... It's not an easy choice though. Yeah, I think you do make the attack. You want to get one of these Guardians down.
Okay.
So what does Gaara has as options here? Like he can just go with weapon
And monkey.
monkey.
Or just a Zerdrake. Sure.
Or
Very
just a
quick
Zerdrake,
decision.
yeah. Like Ragnaros, that's definitely a problem for Lifecoach, but also like the Savannas. The Savannas looks nice in theory, but the problem is here that he's eating a lot of damage and there's no Reno Jackson in sight just yet.
I'm looking at Dirty Rat Mind Control Tech and thinking it's probably...
How is it greedy? I think it might be just good.
Well, if a powerful minion comes down and then you don't steal it... I mean, I'm specifically looking at the Ragnaros
I mean,
here,
if you
obviously.
pull the Ragnaros, you're also gonna pull the Ragnaros to your side, right? I mean, that's how it works.
Hopefully, that's the idea. If you're calling that now, then I'll believe it.
Oh,
You've been pretty accurate so far with your card predictions.
It's like 50-50, right? Either it happens or not.
Right.
I mean, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Look at this.
Then again, Siphon Soul does actually allow Lifecoach to completely clear the board. Siphoning the 3/6, trading the 3/5 into the 3/2, and then trading the 4/4 minions. He's doing it though. Dirty Rat. Oh, Fairy Dragon. That was disappointing.
Best minion. I'm the best. I'm Lifecoach.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty good when he stole the healthy taunt. Okay.
Drake was kind of okay as well, but you're right, this was definitely one of the better options.
That one of the it was like I mean, you steal the healthy taunt.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and suddenly everything looks very good. Yeah.
Right.
And Gaara has nothing.
His two fiery warwicks has drawn them both a little bit too late, and now they're clogging up his.
Lifecoach is like looking over the cards, like, oh, that went pretty well. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Time to remove this Warx, I guess.
So really, Gaara's just relying on Ragnaros here, but Lifecoach has so many ways of removing
Oh, and
it.
Kazakus this is not getting better for Gaara now. I think the last I'm in charge.
And now Patches as well. It's times like this that I wish we could see Gaara's face, obviously because that is the Taurum, so it's the only live cam that we're not actually getting.
That's a pretty dirty red. Ah, okay. Yeah, the dirty red. The dirty red. Yeah. It's such a cool card, actually. Like, it's one of the first cards which gives you like options to interact with your opponent's hand.
Yeah, yeah, and it's as a result, it's a card that I think a lot of people back home, or a lot of people, yeah, watching at home are really annoyed by because it ruins their combos.